It was a dark and stormy night, and Sarah was alone in her house. She had just finished watching a horror movie and was feeling a bit spooked. As she made her way to bed, she heard a strange noise coming from outside. It sounded like scratching, as if someone or something was trying to get in. Sarah tried to shake it off, telling herself it was just her imagination. But as the scratching continued, it grew louder and more insistent. Suddenly, the power went out, plunging the house into darkness. Sarah's heart raced as she fumbled for a flashlight. That's when she heard footsteps, slow and deliberate, coming from the hallway. She froze, unable to move or scream as the footsteps grew closer and closer. Then, just as suddenly as they had begun, they stopped. The silence was deafening. Sarah waited for what seemed like an eternity, but nothing happened. She cautiously got up and made her way to the hallway, shining her flashlight into the darkness. That's when she saw them. A pair of glowing eyes staring back at her. She screamed and ran back to her room, locking the door behind her. She could hear the creature scratching and clawing at the door, trying to break in. But eventually, the noises stopped, and Sarah was left alone in the dark once again. The next morning, when the power came back on, Sarah ventured out of her room to find the house in shambles. Furniture was overturned, and there were claw marks on the walls and floor. But most disturbing of all were the tracks leading out the back door. Tracks that looked like they had been made by some sort of animal. Sarah never did figure out what had happened that night, but she never forgot the feeling of terror she had experienced. To this day, she still hears scratching at her door on stormy nights, and she never knows if it's just her imagination or something more sinister.